Have you ever wondered what happens after you die? What if I told you a 16-year-old girl died suddenly and came back with a terrifying message from Jesus himself? A message about social media, the double lives we live online, and the eternal consequences that follow. She was just like any other teenager, beautiful, popular, always online. But beneath the filters and followers, something far darker was hiding. What Jesus showed her shook her to her soul. This is not just a story, it's a warning, a revelation that could change everything about how we live, what we post, and who we pretend to be. This is her story, and it begins the night she died. So please, if this story moves you, share it. Let someone else be warned, be healed, be delivered. It could be the difference between heaven and hell for someone you love. Now let us step into the life of the 16-year-old girl before everything changed.
My name is Ilya. I was 16 when I died. If you saw me back then, you would not have thought anything was wrong. I had long curly hair, a bright smile, and a phone always in my hand. People called me pretty, some said I was goals. I had over 40,000 followers on Instagram, 12K on TikTok, and every selfie I posted got flooded with comments like, "And you're everything." But no one knew the truth. I was broken inside. At school I wore a mask. I laughed too loud. I flirted too easily. I talked about people behind their backs just to feel like I belonged. And at home, I barely spoke to anyone. My mom worked 2 jobs. My dad left when I was 8. I spent most nights locked in my room with my ring light, phone, and a deep emptiness I could not explain. We went to church sometimes, on Christmas, Easter, and when my grandma begged us, but I never paid attention. I would sit in the back with my AirPods in, or scroll through TikTok under the pew. I believed in God, kind of, but he felt distant, like a star in the sky, beautiful, but unreachable. If I am being honest, I thought church people were weird, judgmental, hypocrites. I told myself I was a good person. I did not kill anyone. I helped my friends. I tried to be nice when I could. That should count for something, right? I knew people talked about hell, preachers on YouTube, angry men with signs. My grandma cried when she warned me about it. But I did not believe in a hell that would take someone like me. I mean, come on. I was just a kid. I was figuring things out, making mistakes. Everyone posts wild stuff. Everyone flirts in DMs. Everyone pretends a little online. That is just life now. No big deal. But something inside me, it was changing. I had started comparing myself more and more to other girls online. Their bodies, their makeup, their lives. I used filters so much. I hated how I looked in the mirror without them. I would delete any post that did not get enough likes within the first hour. My worth was tied to hearts, comments, and shares. I became addicted to validation, and then came the secret account. Only a few people knew it was me. It was where I posted the things that got me the most attention. The more revealing stuff, thirst traps, pictures that made me feel powerful. Even if just for a moment, guys would flood my inbox. Some of them were way older, but I liked the attention. I craved it. It felt like someone saw me. But when the screen went dark, so did my heart. I started losing sleep. My anxiety was getting worse. I hated myself after every post. I would cry for no reason. I even thought about disappearing more than once. But I smiled through it, because that is what we do. We post, we pretend, we pose, until everything falls apart, until the moment comes when you cannot pretend anymore. And for me, that moment came on a cold Thursday night. It was supposed to be just another selfie, just another filter, just another chance to feel seen. Instead, it was the night I met death and hell. It happened so suddenly. That Thursday night, I had just finished getting ready for bed. Or so I told my mom. I closed the door, turned off the main light, and turned on the soft pink glow of my LED strip that lined the ceiling. My phone buzzed with notifications, and I remember feeling this strange rush, like adrenaline, like I needed to post something now. I slipped into a new outfit I had hidden from my mom, something I had seen influencers wear, something tight. I snapped a few pictures in the mirror, added a filter that smoothed everything and made my eyes look glassy and big. I stared at the screen, adjusting it until I looked perfect, and then I posted it on the secret account. Within minutes, the likes poured in, hearts, flames, wifey material. A few DMs popped up instantly. I smiled for a moment, but as I stared at the screen, I felt hollow, like something was off. I was dizzy, my chest hurt. I thought maybe it was anxiety again. I lay down, trying to breathe, but the air in the room got thin. My fingers went cold, my head pounded, then nothing, just black, no falling, no pain, just silence. And then I opened my eyes, but I was not in my room anymore. I was floating above my bed. I could see myself lying there, eyes closed, phone still in my hand with the screen glowing. I screamed, but no sound came out. I tried to move, but I had no body, just awareness, just fear. And then the room stretched, warped, like the walls melted. I felt something grab me, like cold wind, but alive. Fingers made of shadows, and they pulled me down. Not sideways, not forward, down, faster than I could scream. I was falling, past walls covered in faces, past memories, past the videos I had posted, every filter, every comment I made mocking someone, every post I deleted, because it did not get enough likes. I saw them all. They were written on something invisible, like permanent ink on my soul. And then the light disappeared, and I landed. If you could call it landing, it was not a place, it was a presence. Fire without flame, smoke without escape, screams that did not echo, they pierced. A deep, raw torment filled the air like poison. I smelled sulfur, rot, and something I cannot even describe, like burning plastic mixed with flesh. And the heat, it was not like an oven or the sun, it was a heat that pressed into my spirit. It burned memory, identity, hope. I heard people screaming my name. Aaliyah, Aaliyah, why did you lead us here? I turned, and there were girls I had never met in real life, but they followed me. Some were younger, they were weeping, reaching, melting. One of them shouted, "You said it was okay, you made it look fun. Why didn't you tell us the truth?" I wanted to run, I wanted to die again, but I was already dead. And in that place, there is no death, only existing, only regret. I saw screens floating above us, giant ones, playing my videos, my stories, my pictures, the comments, the DMs, the lies, the seduction, the thirst for validation, the attention I used to feel important. They were playing on repeat, and behind them stood a figure, tall, cloaked in darkness, but his eyes laughed. A laugh so cold, so inhuman, it made the flames seem kind. "You let them hear," the voice said. Every like, every view, every heart was a soul. I collapsed, I wept, but my tears only fed the fire beneath me. I tried to say, I did not mean to, but my silence screamed louder. Then, the light came. I do not know how long I was in that place. There is no time in hell, no ticking clocks, no hours, just an endless sense of too late. I remember sinking, screaming, reaching for anything. The fire was not just outside me, it was inside me. Regret was the oxygen. The torment came from knowing I could have lived differently, but I chose attention instead of truth. Approval over obedience, followers instead of faith. And then something changed. At first, I thought it was another illusion, a trick, but it was light, not fire, not screens. It came like a wind, but it did not burn. It felt like peace, but I was terrified of it. The darkness around me recoiled, the laughter stopped, the floating screens flickered and shattered like glass. And then, I saw him, a man in white, not glowing like the sun, but like eternity. Like purity so strong it hurt to look at. His eyes, oh God, his eyes looked into me and I broke. I collapsed. I could not speak. I could not lie. I could not hide. He did not accuse me. He simply knew. He walked toward me, slowly through the burning landscape, and where his feet touched the ground, fire could not stay. And then, he spoke. His voice was unlike anything I had ever heard. Not loud, but final. Not angry, but unshakable. It was like thunder wrapped in mercy. "Aaliyah, why did you trade your soul for a screen?" I could not answer. My spirit wept. You used your beauty to lead others into darkness, but I created you for light. He showed me faces, teenagers, children, some younger than me, some older, all chained in that place, all led there by someone they followed online, and many of them had followed me. You called yourself an influencer, he said, but who influenced you? He lifted his hand. I expected punishment, but instead he pointed upward. I looked, and I saw a flash. My bedroom, my mother kneeling at my bedside, wailing, my grandmother at church, holding my picture, praying with tears streaming down her face, my inbox filled with unread messages from a girl I used to go to youth group with, begging me to come back to God. Then, the scene changed again. I saw a path, narrow, dusty, empty. It had no filters, no followers, just a cross at the end. And he said, "This is the way you refused. You still have one more chance." I shook, "But I do not deserve it," I whispered. He answered, "No one does. That is why it is called mercy." And then, everything vanished. Nos, I gasped. My lungs burned like I had not breathed in hours. My eyes opened, and I was back in my body, lying on my bed, my phone still in my hand, my mother crying beside me. The image I had posted was still on the screen, but now, I saw it differently. It was not a post, it was a trap. I deleted the account that night. I fell on my knees and sobbed like a baby, and I whispered the name I had ignored for so long, Jesus. Everything changed after that night. It did not happen all at once. Salvation is instant, but healing takes time. I deleted every account that glorified my flesh, my image, or my ego. I removed every post that made others stumble, even the ones I thought were innocent. I stopped checking likes. I stopped chasing approval. I stopped craving attention. Instead, I started craving God. I joined a small Bible group at my grandmother's church. I was terrified they would judge me, but they welcomed me like a lost daughter coming home. I cried through every worship session, not because the songs were beautiful, but because I was ashamed of how long I had rejected him. I confessed everything to my mom. She broke down, held me, and said, "God gave you back to me." It was not easy. I had withdrawal from the dopamine rush of social media. I had moments where I felt tempted to go back, but every time I did, I remembered those faces, those girls, the screams, the screens, the regret. I became obsessed with telling people the truth. I started a new page, not for followers, but for freedom. I post Bible verses now, warnings, hope. I speak at youth groups. I tell them what I saw, what Jesus told me, what hell looked like. Some laugh, some scroll past, but some cry. Some ask how they can be saved, and I tell them, do not wait until your soul is dangling over hell. Come now, because if he could reach into that fire for me, he can reach for you. If you are watching this, please listen carefully. Hell is not a metaphor. It is not a myth. I saw it, I felt it. I heard the screams of people who once thought just like I did. It's not that serious. I'm just having fun. God understands, but the devil is using our screens to drag us there. One scroll, one comment, one compromise at a time. Jesus saved me not because I was good, but because someone prayed. He gave me a second chance, so I could give you a warning. What you share can shape a soul's eternity. Your influence is either building heaven or fueling hell. Please choose wisely.
Now I ask you, do you believe hell is real? What are you doing with your influence? Your words, your posts, your silence? Have you made peace with God? Or are you still chasing likes that lead to death? If this story spoke to you, please do not keep it to yourself. Share it. Talk to someone. Pray. Repent. Begin again. She is a living proof. It is not too late. Jesus gave her a second chance. What will you do with yours? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had a spiritual wake-up call? Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay ready.